They called her dangerous. They called her beautiful. They called her a temptress. But Rome had another name for her: Queen. And before the armies came, before the ships burned at Actium, there was a woman who understood power: Cleopatra. She was born to a kingdom divided, where brothers fought for the crown. But she learned the language of power when the mighty came marching down. She could speak to a king in his own tongue. She could listen and make him believe. She was more than the face of a kingdom. She was Egypt, she would never leave. When Caesar came to Alexandria and the palace was torn by the throne, she entered wrapped in the silence and walked into history alone. No army stood at her shoulder, no legion was guarding the door. Just a queen with a mind like a weapon and a kingdom worth fighting for. And Rome saw a woman, but Egypt saw its queen. And the world would remember what Cleopatra had seen. Cleopatra, queen of the Nile. You could conquer with a legion, but she could conquer with a smile. Cleopatra, queen of the Nile. She was fighting for her kingdom, and she would fight it all the while. She wasn't born to surrender. She wasn't raised to kneel. She was a queen who knew her power, and she knew that power was real. Then Antony came from Rome with the world upon his command. But she met him not as a lover, she met him as a queen of her land. At Tarsus she came like a vision, with gold and perfume and light. But beneath all the splendor and glory was a politician reading the night. She understood what Antony needed, and she knew what Egypt required. Two powers bound together by fortune, two ambitions burning like fire. They shared their children and kingdoms. They dreamed of a world of their own, while Octavian gathered his legions, and Rome sharpened its stone, and the rumors grew louder as the Roman world turned cold. But behind every story was a queen protecting her throne. Cleopatra, fate of Antony in Egypt was hanging on what the Romans would yield. But the battle was turning against them, and the future was closing its door. Antony followed the ships of his queen, and the world they had dreamed of was no more.
They returned to Alexandria as Octavian marched to the gate, and Cleopatra bargained for Egypt while Antony confronted his fate. She tried to preserve what remained, her palace, her children, her crown. But Rome had decided the ending, and Rome would not let her down.
They wanted her carried through Rome, but captive queen, a trophy for an emperor. But Cleopatra would not give Octavian that victory.
Cleopatra, queen of the Nile. You could conquer with a legion, but she could conquer with a smile. Cleopatra, queen of the Nile. She would rather die a queen than live to walk Rome's triumph mile. She wasn't born to surrender. She wasn't raised to kneel.
She was the last great Ptolemaic queen, and her destiny was sealed. And when the Roman soldiers came, the palace doors were closed. The queen was gone. No triumph,
No chain,
no chains,
no Roman spectacle,
only silence.
and a kingdom without its queen.
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. Cleopatra.